My name is Gregory Nicotero, special effects makeup artist and director of the United Monster Talent Agency.
After a long time career with FX, when born United Monster Talent Agency?
Well, what happened was I had been on the road for almost 2 years. I mean, I started Inglourious Bastards, came to Sitges, then did Book of Eli, Piranha, Predators. I was, for 2 years, almost jumping around the world, filming movies. When Predators ended in January, I realized that I had a 6-week window of opportunity to do this film that I had thought a little bit about, but the reason I had never directed anything before was because, number one, running K&B is a full-time job. I mean, we're always very busy, and between myself and Howard, we're jumping all over the globe doing special effects. So I never had an opportunity. I never had a time when I knew I could dedicate to myself to preparing, writing, and directing. So Predators was wrapped, and I knew that we were going to be starting The Walking Dead in 6 to 8 weeks. So that was my window, and I came home. I flew home on the plane and decided that I wanted to do this, and talked to my wife and talked to Howard and said, listen, I want to sort of dedicate the the people at the shop for a couple weeks and create some creatures and stuff, and I want to do this little movie. And that was it. I wrote it in 2 hours. It had originally come about, it was sort of an idea about Universal Studios advertisement. And you'd see the creature from the Black Lagoon chasing the girl through the jungle. Right as he's about to grab her, whoosh, they throw a net over, and you pan over, and there's an announcer saying, "Here at Universal Studios, we strive for realism." And I always thought that would be a funny little joke that Universal Studios used real monsters in all of their movies. And that was kind of where the idea came from. Anybody that loves Universal monster movies loves the idea of recreating them, and our goal was to be as faithful and recreate Frankenstein and the creature and the mummy and do them as closely to the originals. The biggest compliment is a lot of people look at the short and aren't sure, think we used footage from the original movies, which we didn't. Everything that's in the short was all things that we created at the studio.
It's like a homage to Jack Pierce tribute.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. And Dana Gould, who is a stand-up comedian, played the Wolfman. Was a writer for The Simpsons, and he helped me work out some of the jokes and some of the timing. So ultimately, it was a great experience to be able to do this movie. We had so much fun. We shot over 3 days, and I called Frank Darabont and Robert Rodriguez and Serena Vincent and Jeffrey Combs and Derek Mears. I called all my friends, and they all said, "Sure, just tell us when you want to do it." Which is another interesting thing for me, is because I had never played that card before. I never called in a favor. It was important for me that if I was going to do my first film, to make sure that I did it right. I didn't want to, half-ass it. I wanted it to be great. And I think the turning point for me was coming up with the idea of, when I was doing my research for the short, one thing that I noticed in all of the advertisements in the 50s was everybody was looking to the future. it was going to be a bright future filled with technology and filled with promise. And everything was, you know, the car of tomorrow and the house of tomorrow and the family of tomorrow. And so I thought, oh, it would be great if this agency had a wing that was dedicated to creating creatures for future movies that hadn't been made yet. Of course, we've seen them because they're in our past, but they were in the agency's future. And when I came up with that idea, then I thought, oh wait, now I can put Dawn of the Dead in there, then I can put John Carpenter's The Thing, then I can put Jaws and Nightmare on Elm Street. It was really, it opened the floodgates for me. So it was really my chance to say thank you to people like Steven Spielberg and John Carpenter and George Romero and Tom Savini and Jack Pierce. And and you know, seeing it in the theater with 1,000 people last night was terrifying. I was so nervous. You know, up till this point, I hadn't showed it to my friends. You know, I'd showed it to Eli. Eli was a tremendous help and showed up our first day of shooting and did his scene with Dana Gould and Jeff Combs. And it was fun because they had never met each other before. But, you know, we started with the Wolfman sequence was the first thing we shot. And I was so comfortable because I had my friends there. Eli was fantastic. Dana Gould was fantastic. Jeff, everybody there just, it really warmed my heart to see all of my friends there so willing to partake in my little experiment. And it was the first day we shot. Then the next day was the Creature from the Black Lagoon scene. So I had Serena and Sam Page and Carrie Jones, who works at K&B, who was one of the Predators in the new movie, wore the creature suit. So then I got a chance to work with actresses. I got to do a little bit of everything. And no love scene. That was the only thing that didn't end up in the movie. But it was exhilarating, and to have my crew be able to work with me as a director and not as a special effects man. They saw me in a very different light, which meant a lot to me. That, you know, I organized how the shoot was going to be. Just everything, the way we had it all organized, and we got a lot done. We shot all those monsters and all those little gags in 3 days. 3 days, we just whoosh, and I don't feel that I really missed anything. There was nothing that I thought, I wish I would have got that one shot. But so it was great. And ironically, when we shot Frank's scene, he was in the middle of casting for The Walking Dead. So they kept calling from his office and saying, he's on his way, he swears he'll be there soon, but he's in the middle of casting for the series. And it got down to the point where I thought, oh, well, he's not going to make it, and maybe I'll just play that part. And I didn't want to because I wanted Frank to do it. And at the last minute, his assistant called and said, he's on his way, and showed up. Dave Scow was the DP for Creature from the Black Lagoon. And these guys walked in, and we had the cave set built. We had the sand, we had the rock, we had Serena in her costume. We had the creature in his suit. And Dave said to me, this is the closest that anyone will ever get to actually feeling like what it was like to be on the set of Creature from the Black Lagoon. We had rented period costumes, we had rented period movie cameras. So it was as if you went to sleep, woke up, and you were on the set of that movie. It was amazing, and I'm very, very proud. And the fact that people respond to the movie makes me feel even that much better. That it wasn't just me thinking, oh yeah, this will be fun. That Angel and Mike and everyone at the festival here, they were the first people that said, oh yes, we must have this movie.
When I saw the short film, he called, oh, this is great. Do you need to see it because it's wonderful.
Well, it meant a lot to me, and the fact that they're my friends and colleagues, and I respect them, and they run the most prestigious film festival in Europe, to be asked to be a guest and to present my movie, it was an honor. I mean, I got a little choked up last night. I went on stage, and Angel did his entire introduction in Catalan, and he said one sentence in English, and he said, Greg Nicotero has made one of the most touching movies I've ever seen. And he said it in English to me, and that it was amazing. I couldn't even, I didn't even know what to say. I was like, oh no.